This is going to be a very short podcast. This is being recorded the Sunday before the midterm elections on Tuesday, the 8th of November 2022. There's really not much I can say or do to influence you. I can only express my fear that after Tuesday and in the days after the ballots start being counted, the concept of democracy that we have long believed we shared, unless of course you are someone who is not Caucasian and not male and not Christian and basically that's it. Even people who have money probably don't experience democracy. They just have the money to at least manipulate it to their own devices. Then in the next few days, that concept is going to die. I have seen the numbers. I've seen the polling. And it does not look good for the good guys. And which means that those of us who believe in humanity are going to have to make some rather tough choices in the next few days. And this is probably not going to be something you're going to need to ponder over a few months. You will have 8 weeks, 10 at the most, to figure out what you're going to do if the bad guys win. Now you can probably, by the way, tell by my nomenclature here where I stand on a lot of things. But if you are not a white, born-again Christian male, you are probably going to rule over the rest of the country, the majority of the country. The majority does not rule anymore. If you are a person who is, for instance, gender questioning at the least, you're going to have decisions you're going to have to make. And your family is going to have to make some decisions if your family actually does love you and understand you. If you are a woman, you're going to have to make some hard decisions. If you are not Caucasian, you may have to start making some hard decisions. If you do not have a permanent place to live, you may have to start making some hard decisions on your life. Now, I can't tell you exactly what to do. I mean, yes, I can say, come to California, or come to a state that basically will accept you. But by this time on Wednesday, the number of those states may shrink to a Very few. 15 at my last count, and only 10 of them definite. Thankfully, I do live in one of those states. For some people, moving to another country is not an option because you don't have, you may not have the money to move to a state that's accepting, let alone another country, like Canada or Europe. We are about to become the laughingstock of the planet if it wasn't for the fact that most of the rest of the planet is turning into a laughingstock as well. Take a look at what is happening in Italy, what is happening in the UK. The inmates have definitely taken over the asylum. And now they are starting to break out of the asylum and mix in with the general population. But you're going to have to start to ask a question. What do I do after Election Day? What are my plans? What do we need to do? What do we need to do to at least protect ourselves? Hopefully in the next few weeks through my social media and through podcasts like this, we can talk about that. It is something we do need to talk about. And we need to talk about it now. Because it's going to look, in many cases, like voting is not going to save us. Hard decisions are going to have to be made. Some of those decisions may involve sacrifice. And you're going to have to understand that if you do decide to move somewhere else, the bad guys are going to come after you. They're going to come after you with the intention of eliminating you, one way or the other, in my opinion. There are going to have to be decisions you're going to have to make. I have sat this week and I have talked about what I will do, what I can do. And going through my mind, I was thinking in terms of giving up. Not necessarily giving up in the way you're probably thinking. No, I'm too much of a coward. But I was thinking about just the hell with this. But I can't. I'm one of that small percentage of kids in school who actually enjoyed going to civics class and learning about this country and learning about the amazing thing that America had, at least in theory, on paper, become. I was lucky. I was a military kid, so I did not have all of the problems that many of my brethren in southern states had to deal with. My father was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which makes me even sad to think of what has happened to that state. But I have made a decision. I have made a decision that I'm going to keep going. I'm going to fight the good fight. I'm not leaving any social media platforms. I'm just expanding them. I'm going to make more podcasts. I'm going to make more videos on TikTok and YouTube and Twitter. I've already invested in Twitter Blue on 2 accounts, and I am going to continue that, even though the prices may rise $3 a month for each. I believe it is worth it to try to help save what's left of this country. I don't know how effective I can be, but I can't be effective if I don't try. You cannot be effective if you don't try. Again, I can't tell you exactly what to do, but the one thing that you cannot do is surrender to them. The one thing you cannot do is surrender to them. Now let me talk a second or two to the Christians out there, the born-again Christians the true Christians, I believe, who are looking at all this and you're wondering, what has happened to my faith? You need to take your faith back. You need to take your faith back from the charlatans who have taken it over. And you need to do this starting now. You need to walk away from hatred and bigotry under the name of God. And if you have to just, get a connection with Zoom or any other conferencing app or something like that, remember, if 2 or more are gathered in His name, according to Scripture, that is church. And maybe it may just start with 2 of you. But it is time to take your faith back. To Republicans, it's time to take the grand old party back. If the GOP wins on Tuesday, then you'll have a front row seat to what they are going to do. And if you really believe in this country, you're going to make a decision in 24 months to basically take that country back from the charlatans. And the charlatans I am talking about are all not named Trump. As a matter of fact, it is my belief that Trump is as much of a tool as anything else. The Republican Party needs to take back its party. It needs to take back the party of Lincoln, the party of Wilkie, the party of Goldwater, the real party of Goldwater, because Barry Goldwater, before he died, was really, really not in love with what had happened with his country. You need to take that back. Progressives, you either need to take back the Democratic Party or form your own. I've never been able to understand why we are just stuck in this two-party dichotomy in the first place. But you need to either take back the Democratic Party or form your own. Again, same thing with the GOP. If the main GOP wants to call themselves the Trump Party, let them. I would love to have 4 main parties as opposed to 2 anyway. If you voted for your freedom and you find out that your freedom has been rejected, it is time for you to start making some decisions about where you're going to spend a good part of your life. To spend your life in a place that basically accepts freedom. Basically accepts you as you are. There are places where that will not happen. And you need to look for places where it can. And I know I do have a listener or 2 outside of this country. If you still believe the idea of an America, the idea of American democracy means something, you need to act on it. You need to start telling what America has become. We will not accept this, and we will hold back. Blackmail works. But to you and the world, and I don't know if anybody watches or listens to what we do here. But basically, none of you needs to give up. The enemy is strong, but the enemy can be defeated. This giant of an enemy can be defeated. We just need enough Davids to do it. Now, in terms of what I'm going to do, part of that is in my websites, and I'm going to give you one URL that you're going to need to follow me, and I really need for you to follow me and to support me through this one website, and we're going to integrate it to the main website, which is RadioDon.net, but this is the one that you need to write down right now if you want to follow us. Linktree/RadioDon. That is linktr.ee/RadioDon. Let me repeat that. linktr.ee/RadioDon. You need to write out like that because linktree.com is not going to work. Every place I am is there. Every way you can communicate with me is there. Every social media app that I'm using, and that includes my 2 Twitters, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, all there. All of the side networks are also there. I'm talking about Counter Social and Mastodon. We're there too. I'd like for you to join us there. We'll also be posting news stories there. And we have a piggy bank that is connected to one of my payment services. If you want to support us, all you have to do is go into the website I just told you, scroll down till you see piggy bank, and you'll see various amounts that you can help us out with, and we really would appreciate that. Because even though things might be looking good for me right now, it's that's going to be a one-time thing that's going to be happening, and then we really need to fund this so we can do a better job in informing you. And that's basically it. Thank you very much for listening to this. This is a much different type of podcast than I usually do. All I can tell you is not to give up. To quote Jim Valvano in his last speech before he passed away. The speech is repeated over and over again every year, as ESPN does their usual bit to try to fight cancer through the V Foundation. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.